If you've just joined the class, welcome, and we're going to start the gentle yoga class flat on our backs. The feet a little way apart, just dropping out to the side, and the arms a little way away from the body, palms facing up. And sometimes it's just so lovely to lie and feel the back of the body against the floor. So take a few moments to arrive in this position, to really feel the support of the floor beneath you, but also the sensation of air and cloth against your skin on the upper body, the front of your body, I mean. Feeling from the top of your head all the way down to your toes, all the way down to your fingertips. And coming back to sensation of the breath, just feeling the body breathing, feeling the stream of the breath. You feel it in your nostrils, and your body will respond to each inhalation with gentle movement. You just notice where that is. And it will release a little bit like a mini death on every exhalation. So this breathing in and out is a lovely reminder of filling with life and then letting it go. Filling with life and letting it go. There's nothing morbid about that, it's just simply the natural state of affairs. And then if you would like to, and if you're able to, lightly constricting the back of your throat, so that as the breath comes in, you feel the coarseness of that flow of the breath over the back of your throat. And as you breathe out, you feel that same coarseness moving over the back of your throat. You might feel this sound, like a sound of the ocean or wind in the leaves, resounding in your skull, resounding in the cavity of your mouth, maybe down into your throat and chest. This is Ujjayi breath, ocean breath. It takes a little bit of practice, but we've been doing it quite a lot recently. And you just don't want to feel a strain like you're gripping in the back of your throat. Feeling into the wave of each breath, like a wave breaking on a pebbly beach. And drawing back into the ocean. The wash of water, the wash of the ocean. And if you enjoy this Ujjayi breath, if it gives you a particular quality, a particular focus to your practice, you can keep with it for as much of the practice as you like. I'll try and remind you. And then taking an inhalation, and on the exhale, drawing your knees in towards you with your hands. Just bringing attention to the lower back and having a little rock from side to side. So I feel quite tender, because I've been doing quite a lot of yoga. So it's quite nice just to gently come into the practice, gently, soothingly rock over the lower back. Maybe feel the rest of your back on the mat. And then coming to a still point, still holding your knees, taking a full breath in. And on the breath out, gently And with weight in the head, turn your head to the left. Looking right over to the left across the floor. And then when you're ready to breathe in, coming back to the center. And then breathing out, slowly rolling your head to the right. And taking a couple more in your own time of these very gentle neck movements, but all the while pressing your head down, the back and the sides of the head. So you really feel the skull almost being massaged against the mat as you simultaneously feel into the vertebrae of your neck. Breathing fully, breathing Ujjayi. And the next time you've exhaled over to the right, inhaling and coming back to the center and staying here and allowing your knees to move away from you so your arms straighten. So your fingertips, it's like your fingertips on your kneecaps and they're hanging out of the hands. You feel a lovely looseness, the weight of your legs. And then from here, with this looseness, this sense of dangling, begin to circle your knees in a clockwise direction. And you might find that your circles are tiny. Or you might find that you want to really draw your knees in towards you quite far. You want to explore the space out to the right and the left as you take slightly bigger circles. Lovely clockwise massage over the sacrum. Don't know why this feels so good this morning. Very soothing, very reassuring movement. And the next time you come to the top with your arms straight, your knees out in front of you, beginning to reverse the direction of the circles. Lovely, soothing. Circling in anti-clockwise direction. Take your time. So rather than being quick, really slow it down, almost noticing the transition from each millimeter to each millimeter. And breathing freely, breathing Ujjayi if it feels good for you. Really gives a depth to the breath and to the practice. And then next time your knees are out in front of you, taking a breath in. And as you breathe out, draw your knees in towards you and softly lift your head towards your knees. And you could stay here for a moment, maybe sliding your hands to your feet to hold you into quite a tight little package, but please don't strain your neck. Take a full breath in, and as you breathe out, take your hands behind your head. You feel the full weight of your head in your hands. You can bring your chin in towards your chest. And keep holding your head there as you lightly drop your feet down to the floor, knees bent. And just take a moment here, head hanging in the hands, to feel into the back of the neck, the top of the back, the trapezius muscle. You might even like to move a little bit from side to side, just feeling into all the muscles of the back of the neck and the upper back. We did a lovely practice last night, opening a lot into these muscles. And take a breath in here, and then very lovingly, softly release your head down to the floor, sliding your fingers over the back of your head and down by your sides. Take a breath in and out. And then inhaling, lift your arms over your head And slide the left leg away. Interlacing your hands with the forefingers free and reaching up behind you. And exhale, drop the right knee out to the side. So we're in a tree on the back, Supta Vrikasana. Let's take a moment in this tree. So this is a repeat of the practice on Monday, but we've got longer, so we can take a little bit longer to feel into the body. I'd like you to pull your left toes towards you, so you pull as you're pushing that left heel away, and the sole of your right foot is pressing somewhere into the inside of the right leg. And now as you inhale, really press your hands together and reach out through the top of your head as you reach out through the left heel, a little bit of a stretch. And then exhale, let go, soften the whole body. I'm going to do this 2 more times. Inhale, press your hands and stretch your arms over your head and out through the left heel. Lovely for the left hip. And exhale, release. And then 1 more time. Inhale, feel that stretch, that pressing of the hands out through the left heel. And as you exhale, release and release your hands. So your arms are just lying comfortably on the floor behind you. And then taking a breath in as you lift your right knee to vertical. And exhale, draw your knee into your chest with your hands. Take a little bit of movement here in the right hip. You can keep pushing through that left heel. Feeling the hip socket, feeling the range of movement of a little bit of circling here. Making sure you circle in both directions. And then holding your knee into your chest, take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, lift your head towards your knee again, pushing out through that left heel. And take a breath in when you're up here. And then gently, gently breathing out. Release your head, but keeping your leg where it is. And holding your right knee with your left hand, take your right arm out in a T shape. Palm can be down or up. We're going to rock a little bit from side to side here, just easing over to the left and then rocking back to the right. Trying to free up sensation in the pelvis, feeling into the right buttock. And at some point, you can roll all the way over to the left or as far over as feels right. So you're using your left hand to encourage the right knee down, but without yanking. And then looking over your right hand, see if you can shuffle your shoulder blades around a little bit so you can begin to soften into the right shoulder blade. Soft gaze towards your right fingertips. Now take a few breaths. It can feel quite cranky, this twist in the morning. It's completely different practicing yoga in the morning to practicing it in the evening. The best is really an early morning practice in terms of benefits. Take a few more breaths, inviting as much softness into the hips, the belly. We're also giving our spine a beautiful twist, a little massage for our internal organs this morning. Breathing softness into the body, letting go with each exhalation. And then bringing your head back to neutral, rolling yourself onto your back, still with your right knee in towards your chest. And bending your left knee up to the sole of the foot standing on the floor. And we're going to come to half happy baby, where you take the sole of your foot towards the ceiling. You can use your hands to draw the right leg down, holding any part of the leg that you can reach. If you can reach the foot, holding onto the foot. either with one hand or two hands. And again, take a little bit of time to feel in. You might want to rock around a bit here. You might want to pulse that leg a little bit. So I feel really stiff here behind to the right side of the knee. Pulsing a little bit before you're able to sink into happy baby. Your knee eventually will be coming right down into your armpit, right down towards the floor. If you're able to, you could slide the left leg away, maybe even floating the leg a little bit off the floor and out to the left. And breathing here, half happy baby, saying hello to the right hip. Hopefully feeling that your sacrum, your lower back is lovely and flat against the floor. And that you're not gripping in the jaw and the mouth and the throat, really soft in the upper body. Breathe. So for anybody who finds squatting, Malasana, quite a challenge, really half happy baby and full happy baby are great preparation. It's like we're squatting, but just without our feet on the floor. Inhaling here, and then exhaling, just bringing your knee back with your hands over your chest and bending up the left knee again. Wonderful. Then if you can, holding on to your right big toe to straighten the leg, but it may well be that you can't reach the toe and that's absolutely fine. You still keep the leg straight, holding further up the leg, or further down the leg, I should say. But either way, pushing up through the heel so your toes come towards you and having a nice hamstring stretch this morning. And again, if you want to soften this practice a little bit, you pulse into this stretch. So rather than coming straight into a rigid straight leg, bend the knee a little bit and then straighten. And if it's accessible to you, slide the left leg away. And take a few breaths here. Take a few breaths. Keep drawing that right shoulder back towards the floor if you can. So you're not reaching, you're not overstraining. And every day it feels different. I feel so much more closed in my hamstrings than usual. I'm just trying to think why. Breathe. And then everybody sliding the left leg away as you release your hand from wherever it is on the right leg. And beginning to circle that leg a little in a clockwise direction. You can point your toes. You can have your arms out in a T-shaped, palms facing down to help support you. And breathing freely as you explore the range of movement. Do you want to keep these circles really tiny? Would you want to really explore the full range of movement right over the body to the left, right out to the right? Completely alive to sensations in the right leg. Breathing maybe your ujjayi. But not holding the breath, not straining the breath. This is so good for your hip. And then at some point reversing the circles, This time you could start big and become small, or start small and become big. Till eventually you slow that down and bring your knee into your chest with your hands. Nice little squeeze here. And take a breath as you just squeeze the knee in. And then bending up the left knee again, foot on the floor. Bring your right foot, if you can, lead the right foot into the hip crease on the left. You're bringing it right into the top of the left thigh. So the back of the foot is resting into the top of the left thigh. Now, it may be for you that that's just not available, in which case you can take the foot as high up the leg as possible. You can take a moment here, just easing into this right hip. You can even use your right hand to gently, almost like kneading bread, knead into the thigh, inner thigh, just to feel into the opening or not of this right hip crease. And then palms of your hands down on the floor. Feel the left sole of your foot and inhale. And as you exhale, peel the foot off the floor, bringing the knees in towards you. And inhale when you're up here. And exhale, gently lower the left foot. We'll do that 2 more times. So you inhale when you're flat, or still, I should say. And you exhale to move. You inhale when you're still. You exhale to move back down. And you inhale when you're still. And you exhale to move back up. And this time you might like to stay up. You might even like to take your hands to your left knee to encourage a little bit more pulling of the legs in towards you, or you could take a hand to each knee, in fact. A little bit of pulling in towards you, noticing any sensation on the right in particular. This is also brilliant for stretching the top of your right foot and ankle for anybody who gets quite stiff in that part of the body. 1 more breath in. And then breathing out, release your left foot and your right foot to the floor. And breathing in now, lifting your arms over your head. As you lift your hips off the floor, you peel your spine up. A little bit of a bridge. And as you breathe out, slowly come down. But coming down, lift your legs up and look in between your legs, arms by your side. Take an inhalation here. And then exhale, drop your knees. We'll do that 3 times. Inhaling, slowly lift into a bridge, arms over your head. Exhale, come down, and at the end of that exhale, lift to look in between your legs. Dropping your feet. Next time you inhale, lifting your arms over your head. Really lift the sideways. And exhale, come down, lift your legs, lift your head without strain, looking in between your legs. Now I'd like you to stay here, but take your hands behind your head. So you release the pressure, the strain on the neck. But take 3 breaths, and every time you exhale, see if you can lift a little bit more to look in between your legs, drawing your side waist, your navel back towards the floor. A little bit of core strengthening. 1 more breath in. And then gently bend your knees into your belly as you slide your head back and you slide your hands away from the back of your head. And take your feet to the floor. And sliding your feet away, take a moment to feel the body before we take that whole sequence to the left. Hope you're all doing okay. And coming back to your breath, coming back to that Ujjayi breath. Taking a full breath in. And as you breathe out, lifting your knees in towards you. And taking a few circles here. So we won't take as many as before, but coming back to that lovely soothing movement over the lower back, over the sacrum. It's also a little bit of a squeeze for your abdominal organs. It's good in the morning. Just check in that your breath is smooth and steady. And take those circles in the opposite direction. One more full inhalation. And then exhale, dropping your feet to the floor. Inhaling, lifting your arms over your head as you slide the right leg away. Interlace your hands, push through the right heel, and exhale, drop the left knee out to the side for tree on your back, Supta Prakasana. So you're going to really push the heels of your hands together so your forefingers are released out beyond the interlacing of your fingers. And you're pushing through the right heel. On the inhale, let's really accentuate this. Really inhale and push through the right heel, press the hands and reach out behind you. Exhale, let go, release the body. Inhale, really reach and press the hands, reach with the right heel. And let go on the exhale. And then last time, inhale. Finding as much length also down the side body as possible on the right side. And exhale, releasing your arms. Taking a moment here. And then lifting your left knee, inhaling. And as you exhale, use your hands to draw the knee in towards you. Moving around a little bit in this left hip now, a little bit of circling. Feeling into the hip. Maybe bringing the knee over to the right a little bit. Taking it out to the left a little bit. And then drawing it in a little bit more towards you and pushing through the right heel. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, lift your head towards your knee. Take a breath in here. And breathing out, release your head, still holding onto your knee. We come to half happy baby. So if you'd like to bend up your right knee, foot on the floor, take the sole of the left foot towards the ceiling, and you're either using your hands lower down the leg to pull the knee down to the armpit, or you take one or two hands to the foot. And like I said before, you can roll around a little bit, ease your way into this happy baby on the left. Maybe, if it's available to you, slide the right leg away. But take the right leg out to the right a bit, lifting the heel off the floor. And then settle into the pose, taking a few breaths as you really soften into your face and throat and hip. A few breaths here. Really releasing in the face. Beautiful. And then releasing the foot and bringing your knee in towards you. And bending your right knee again, foot on the floor. Now if you can, you're going to hold onto your left big toe. But you could hold lower down the leg. The idea is to have the leg straight, so you're not wanting to strain to reach the leg. It's much better you hold lower down. And just like we did before, don't be too hurried to get here. Pulse into that leg a little bit, bend the knee, and feel what it's like to begin to straighten it. Toes towards you, heel pushing away. This side of the body will be different from the other side, either easier or more difficult. And then if you can and you want to, you can slide the right leg away. Keep pulling that left shoulder towards the floor. And take a few breaths now, saying hello to your left leg. So really looking to root the thigh bone down towards the hip socket here. One more breath in. Then as you breathe out, release the left arm and slide the right leg away if you haven't already. And then we begin the circling. So you could go in a clockwise. I've actually gone in an anti-clockwise direction with the left leg. And your circles can start small. And maybe you take really full sweeping circles if that's what you want to do. It's not that it's better, it's what your body is asking for this morning. Breathing. Maybe your arms are out in a T shape to support you. Any crunching in the hip socket would be quite normal. Don't worry about that if you're crackling like I am. At least I hope it's normal. And then reversing the direction of your circles. And breathing. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Lovely. And then finally draw the knee back in with your hands. Bending up the right knee. And taking your left foot and guiding it down towards the top of your right thigh to that hip crease. So the back of the foot, top of the foot is pressing into the upper thigh. Or if you can't reach there, taking the foot further up the leg. And you can take your left hand and gently knead into the inner left thigh. Just feeling an opening in that left hip crease. Breathe. And then releasing both hands on the floor. Take a breath in. Really feel your right foot. And then on the breath out, peel the right foot off the floor. Bring your legs in towards you. Take a breath in here. And then breathe out, float the right foot down. And then breathe in here. And breathe out, drawing your legs in towards you. And breathe in here. And breathe out, foot comes down. And breathe in here. And this time breathing out, come up to stay. Maybe holding on to the right knee. Maybe holding on to both knees. Without a sense of yanking or force, just easing your knees a little bit in towards you, maybe moving around a bit here. And breathe. This is half lotus actually. Lovely little stretch. One more breath in. And then sliding both feet down to the floor. Hands down by your sides. Feeling into both feet now. Inhale and lift your arms and lift your hips into your bridge. And exhale, come down. Feet lift towards the ceiling. Lift your head and look in between your legs. And then on the inhale, drop your feet. Lift yourself into bridge. Quite a little coordination. Exhale, come down and lift your head, lift your legs. Look in between your legs. Last time. Inhale, drop your feet and push arms over your head. And breathe out, come down. Look in between your legs. Now you could either keep your arms by your sides if you're comfortable with that, or hold your head in your hands. So you take the strain off the neck. But we're going to do a little bit of pumping here, a little bit of work. So inhale, and on the exhale, really draw your abdomen down towards the floor. Inhale, release. Exhale, draw your abdomen down as you look in between your legs. Inhale, release. Let's do one more. Exhale, crunching in a little bit. Hold. And then gently, your head hanging in your hands, bend your knees. Slide your feet onto the floor. Then release your head onto the floor. And slide your feet away and take a few breaths here to feel the body, just to feel the whole body now. Until you're ready to bring your knees into your chest, have a little roll around. And you're going to come up to a seated position, high. So it was a long time rolling around on our backs. It's quite nice to have more time to do it in though. And we're going to come to Baddha Konasana, so cobbler's pose. So again, a great preparation for Malasana, for squat. So if you need to, if you find that you're slumping as you bring your feet in towards your groin, sit up on something. So you really want this freedom in the pelvis to rock forwards. And then taking your heels pressing together and bring them as close in towards the groin as possible. And then what I usually do, I'm going to come off my block. I usually take my hands behind me. I think we did this on Monday, and lift up. So you actually lift your bottom up so you can feel that freedom, that hanging. And then when you come back down, come down to settling in front of the sitting bones a bit, if you can. So it's like you reposition yourself. And then take hold of your feet. So this morning I'm squeezing my hands over my toes and then using my elbows to push into my legs. And I know this is an awkward pose for lots of people, I know. You might like to take your thumbs into the insteps, couldn't remember that. So you can peel your feet open like a book. Actually, that gives you maybe a bit more access. You push the heels of your feet together, peeling the insteps apart, and then press your elbows into your legs. But trying to do this without force. Just noticing how that feels, and then we'll come to a couple more instructions here. I want you to really feel like you're rooting down through your sitting bones as you push your legs away. And then from the rootedness, the earthiness of the lower body, lift up out of the pelvis, lift the spine, brighten the chest. See if you can roll your shoulders back, shoulder blades down the spine. So you're not slumping forwards. And we have this, the reason I love this pose is because it brings together this sense of rooting and lifting all at the same time. So we can't lift up and fly in this life if our feet and sitting bones aren't firmly placed on the ground. And take a few breaths here. Maybe feeling what's going on in the inner thighs and the groin. Breathing naturally, breathing fully, maybe still breathing your ujjayi. But trying not to grip and grimace in the face. Take a full breath in and then breathe out here and release a little. And we'll come into a different version today. Now I do want you to hold on to your toes. And take a breath in and find that length in the spine again, out through the top of the head. Really pushing your heels together, sitting bones down. But this time, can you bend forwards? So I know this will be difficult for some people. I can't come down very far, but just to kind of give you a sense of the pose, eventually you might be able to bring your head down to your toes. If you can, your elbows are on the outsides of your lower legs now. And this is wonderful for all those muscles that connect the head to the back, all the way down the neck, the upper back. I can feel the back of my ribs. Let's stay here a moment. Even though it might feel like you're pulling a little bit, see if you can soften into the pose, really drop into it. Breathing into where you feel the strongest sensation. One more full breath in, and then releasing on the breath out. Well done. And then bringing your knees together. And let's take a little bit of windshield wipering before we go on to the next pose. So you can lean back on your hands and take your feet a little bit wider apart. And just allow your knees to drop to the left. Your eyes could go to the right. Stay here a moment. And then bring your head back to neutral. Lift your knees and allow them to drop to the right, your head to the left. Take a few moments yourself to move from side to side, just like a very gentle flossing in the pelvis. Gentle flossing. And then we'll come back to trying our Marichyasana A, which we did on Monday for the first time. So this is where your legs are extended, and please lift yourself up on something if you need just that little bit of a lift under your sitting bones. You're going to bend up the right knee so that your foot is firmly planted inside the thigh, about a fist's distance from the thigh and the heel to the buttock. So in a true Ashtanga style practice, this Marichyasana A would involve, I'm just going to show you the full pose so you get a sense in case you want to try it, the bound pose. And you bring the right arm forwards and you then turn the thumb down, sweep it around the knee, left arm comes behind you for a bind. So the arms are bound and that gives you a bit more leverage then to reach forwards. If you want to do that, do, but otherwise it's absolutely fine to just lift up, find length in the body, lift up, inhale, and then exhale, reach over towards the left toes. Maybe your hands come to the toes, maybe your hands come down the leg. So you choose the version you want. If you want to come with me in bind, reach inside the right knee, turn the thumb down, sweep the arm around the leg, take the left arm behind. And maybe you combine. You could also do this with a belt if it's something you really want to work on. The lovely thing about binding is that it brings great opening and release for the shoulders and upper body at the same time as working the lower body. So whichever version you've come to, can you really pull your left toes towards you, push the heel away, and then breathe in and lengthen up the front of the spine, and breathe out, reaching a little bit forwards towards the left toes. Find your breath. And you're trying not to let the right knee fall too far out to the side, you're pulling it in. One more inhalation. And then exhale. Release and come up gently, and we'll just simply take Marichyasana A to the other side. So you bring your left knee up. So either really pressing into the left foot, reaching up and then coming forwards for the right leg or foot, or reaching the left arm, shoulder right inside the left knee, turn the thumb down, sweep the arm around the knee, sweep the right arm behind so you can hold on and bind. Absolutely not for everybody, I totally realize that. And then whichever version you're in, draw your right toes towards you. And then inhale, really lift up through the front of the body. And exhale, reach, reach, reach with the heart. Reach beyond your right toes. Lovely long spine. And take a few breaths here. So there's such an interesting balance in yoga between what it means to try to do something and what it means to strain. So are you able to observe yourself in that little dance around the edges of your effort and bring in a softness there? Your body will thank you. Take one more full breath in and a breath out and release. Wonderful. And then from here, bringing yourself to all fours. We'll take a few cat-cows because we haven't really limbered up the spine very much. And then we'll come into downward dog. So breathing in, dipping the spine, opening the chest and the throat. Should feel lovely to do this now after everything you've been doing. And then breathe out, scoop it up. Maybe if you want to, come back to child's pose. We'll take a few breaths. I'll leave you freestyle to simply move in between these poses, taking your cow, your cat, your child, making it as soothing and as delicious as possible. Maybe you're breathing ujjayi, maybe you're not. Really feeling the tilt of your pelvis in both directions. And the next time you're on all fours, just circling your hips a little, circling your bottom a little, nice and free. It's quite an intense practice, this one, I think, but it should have great benefits. And then circling in the opposite direction. Finding that freedom in your pelvis after all that discipline. And then curling your toes under and coming to your downward dog, however you want to come. And taking 5 breaths to simply enjoy the simplicity of a downward dog, the opening, the expansion of a downward dog after everything we've been doing. Breathe fully and really celebrate this beautiful opening of the body. Lengthening of the side body. If you can't come to downward dog, then come to half forward fold. For any reasons that you shouldn't have your head beneath your heart for very long or at all. One more full inhalation and a long exhalation. And then looking in between your hands and walking your feet and your hands together. So you're in a forward fold, Uttanasana. You can keep your knees soft. And take your hands to your shins, unless it's very easy for you to touch the floor. And I want us to do this really consciously, really mindfully, move into half forward fold. So press into your feet and begin to straighten your legs, lifting your chest. And breathe out here. And I want the legs really strong and engaged, a separating of the sitting bones, a lengthening of the spine, shoulder blades sliding back on the spine. Take a breath in. And then breathe out, fold again, either bending your knees or not. It'll depend on your body. And then breathing in will come up again. And breathing out. Folding down. Let's do that one more time. Breathing in, straightening your legs, open chest, slide the shoulders away. And breathe out. Now from this forward fold, can you sit back a little bit as if into a chair? Your feet should be parallel. Your knees should be tracking down over your ankle and second toe. Fingertips to the floor. And then from here, lift your arms up into chair pose, Utkatasana. And see if you can feel the strength here. You might be looking down at your toes or straight ahead, or maybe you can lift your gaze in between your hands. And breathe and feel the strength. We're going to stay for 3 more breaths. Reaching but not straining the neck. Tucking the tailbone under. Really feeling the strength of all the muscles involved here. There's a lot going on. 1 more breath in. And then breathe out, push yourself up. Take a breath in. And then breathe out, arms by your sides. I'm going to try something we didn't do the other day. So you could either do chair like you just did, or do chair lifting the heels, see what happens. Inhaling, lifting your arms up. Lift up your toes. And then exhale, can you come into a chair? Heels lifted. I didn't mean lift your toes, I meant lift your heels, excuse me. And this is hard. Can you feel your core working? Can you feel the balance? Can you breathe? Just giving yourself a little challenge here. Can you stay a little bit longer? Breathing and not straining. 1 more breath in, and then breathe out, push yourself all the way up. Ooh. Arms down by your sides. It's quite enlivening. And then taking your feet really wide apart. We didn't do this either on Monday morning. Just for a moment. Take your toes out, heels are in, and come down into goddess. So this is if squatting Malasana is just really unavailable to you, practice goddess. You're looking to have a really straight upper body. You're looking to track your knees over your second toes. And you're looking to take the tailbone under, lift the pubic bone. So this lovely opening in the inner thighs. And you might be up here, you might be all the way down. And breathe here for a moment, taking the right lower arm to the leg, allow the left arm to dangle, and then breathe in, come right over the left ear with the left arm. Feeling the lengthening in the side body, the pressing into the heels. Inhale, and exhale, left arm down, inhale, right arm up. You can move in between these just for a moment. To access the side body, to access the hips. 1 more inhale, and then exhale, push through your feet to straighten. Wow, so that's pretty strong. And zigzag your feet together, just to feel the body before we come down into our peak pose. Don't always have a peak pose, but the whole of this sequence is put together for this pose today, and that is squat. So if squatting is just absolutely unavailable to you, you can take your hands against the wall, feet as far apart as you need, and just practice coming down, or you could hold onto a chair. If you want to have a block or a book handy for your heels, if you know that your heels can't come to the floor, this is a lovely halfway house. Just make sure your toes are out. And you're going to keep your knees tracking with your toes, so your knees aren't dropping in. And just begin to come down bit by bit if you need to. Just practicing this, feeling the strength of your thighs. And maybe you come all the way down. Maybe you don't need the block. Now, obviously, eventually with the Malasana, your feet are together and parallel, but we don't really need to do that today, do we? And take a little bit of time. You can lift one heel at a time and swizzle yourself from side to side, finding a little bit more room for maneuver. Until you're able to press your upper arms inside your knees, palms together. Press the heels of your hands together. And then come to your breath. Come to your breath, and a little bit like with the Baddha Konasana, the cobbler's pose, there's this lovely dynamic in Malasana where you can root down, really feel the parts of the body that are pulling you down towards the earth. But then countering that with a lift up through the chest, the collarbones, the top of the head. And then close your eyes and feel it and breathe into it this morning. With that same dance around the edges of your effort, so that you're soft within the effort, not straining. Can you release in this pose a little for a few breaths? Really dropping down through the sitting bones, dropping down through the floor of your pelvis. But feeling that gentle elevation out through the top of your head. One more breath in. Well done, everybody. And then breathe out, drop your hands. Take your hands behind you. And we're simply going to rock forwards if that's possible, or come your way. Just for one downward dog and child's pose. We've come to the end of the time available. There was me thinking I had lots more time and it still gets sucked up. Have a little bit of a stretch out in your downward dog. It's quite nice to stretch it out after all of that. So you have a stretch in your downward dog, and then you come down to pose of the child. And have a little rest here. If you've got time, take a few moments to just settle in the child's pose and come back to the ease of that. Hands under your forehead, knees together or apart. You can drop the Ujjayi breath now. Just come to silky, natural breath. Feeling the body soften, feeling the body release and surrender. You could stay here, or you could come to lying on your backs for Shavasana. I'm going to read you another poem to see you off into your Shavasana, hoping that you will stay for about 10 minutes if you've got time. I'm sorry I haven't left enough time within the hour. Really making sure you're comfortable, warm enough. And I'm reading another poem from Rebecca Elson. A Responsibility to All is the book. So bearing in mind that she was an astrophysicist. This poem is called Frattura Vecchia. Breaking bread beside the spring, yourself mute, and the village going to the mountain stone by stone. A snake moves towards the water, mythical, precise, remote. And you are taken by a sudden temporality, like water from a dry hill. Each bit of landscape a piece from somewhere else. Till, lying on your back, there is no mountain, only sky, only a cloud running. So like I say, I hope you'll take the opportunity now to rest fully and allow all the benefits of the practice to absorb into every cell of your body. Stay very present to the breath. And thank you so much for joining me. I will be back at 7:30 tonight with a 90-minute Hatha flow class before Will leads a yoga nidra at 9, and there is a lunchtime relaxation led by Will at 1:30 today. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a really wonderful day.